Hey guys, in this video we're going to look at angle measure and word problems and problems that are associated with that. And so our first problem is in the figure below, BA and BC are opposite rays. BF bisects ABE. So if BF bisects ABE, then this angle is the same measure as this one. ABF is congruent to FBE. If BD bisects EBC, that means these two angles are going to be equal or congruent. All right, then it says, if ABF is equal to 9x plus 4, ABF, 9x plus 4, I can label that. And EBF, this one, is 10x minus 1, then what's the measure of ABF? So we know, because BF is an angle bisector, that these two measurements are going to be the same because these two angles are congruent. So what we do then is we set 9x plus 4 equal to 10x minus 1. And then we solve that equation with variables on both sides. So minus 9x minus 9x. 4 is equal to 1x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. And we get 5 is equal to x. Okay, so x is 5. We want to know what measure of angle ABF is. So we got to plug a 5 in for that x right here. Okay, so here we go. So 9 times 5. 9 times 5 plus 4 is going to be 45 plus 4, and the final answer should be 49. So 49 or 49 degrees is the measure of ABF. All right. Okay, next one. Okay, this one says it's the same figures, same diagram, and so all of this is the same. So basically this angle is congruent to this one, and this one is congruent to this one again. This time it says if DBC is 5x and DBE is 3x plus 16, then what's the measure of CBE? So DBC is 5x, DBE is 3x plus 16, and technically I should put these in parentheses with the little degree symbol. I'm not going to do that right now. It's okay if I don't, but technically you would see parentheses with a little degree symbol. I need to set these equal to each other because the two angles are equal to each other since DB is an angle bisector. So we have 3x plus 16 equals 5x. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. 16 is equal to 2x. Divide by 2. And we get 8 is equal to x. So if x is 8, I need to know what CBE is. And so CBE is both of these together and they're the same. Well, if x is 8, if I plug in an 8 for that x right there, 5 times 8 is 40. And that means this one's 40 also. So the combined degree measure of both of these, which is CBE, is 40 plus 40, which is 80 degrees. Okay, next one we have the same diagram. So we're going to label this. Again, those two angles are equal and these two are equal. Okay, we have EBC, whole thing is 10x minus 8, and DBC is 4x plus 5. So it's saying we have 4x plus 5 here. The whole thing is 10x minus 8, but we know since these two angles are congruent that this one must be 4x plus 5 as well. Well, the whole thing is 10x minus 8. So if the whole thing is 10x minus 8, we're going to set that equal to the sum of these two, which is 4x plus 5, plus another 4x plus 5. So we have 10x minus 8 equals 8x, and then plus 10. I'm going to subtract 8x on both sides. 2x minus 8 is equal to 10. Add 8 to both sides. And now we have 2x is equal to 18. And if I divide by 2 on both sides, I'm going to get x is equal to 9. I want to know what DBE is, DBE. So DBE is 4x plus 5, so I've got to plug in a 9 for that x right there. So I have 4 times 9 plus 5. 9 times 4 is 36 plus 5. And 36 plus 5 is 41, or 41 degrees. And that should be your final answer for that one. Okay, our last one with this diagram is same thing. These are equal and these are equal. ABF is 4x plus 22. EBD is 5x plus 5. Well, that's interesting. If ABF is 4x plus 22, and these are the same, then this one must also be 4x plus 22. If EBD is 5x plus 5, and then these two are congruent, so this one must be 5x plus 5 also. All of these together on a straight line, because they're opposite rays, all of these together is 180. So we're going to add all these together, and we're going to get 180. So we're going to put 180 equals. Okay, so how many x's do we have? 4, and another 4 makes 8. That's going to be 13, and another 5 makes 18. So we have 18 x's all together. 22 and 22 makes 44, and another 10. 5 and 5 make 10. So 44 and 10 make 54. And now we're going to go ahead and solve that little equation. And so I'm going to subtract 54 on both sides first. 180 minus 54 is 126. I'm going to divide by 18. And it turns out that 126 divided by 18 is 7. And so x has to be 7 for this one. All right, next problem. Now we have a different setup. If PUQ is 47 and RUP, the whole thing, all of this is 98, then what's QUR? That one. Well, if the whole thing is 98 and this piece is 47, then the missing one must be 98. Take away 47. So the measure of angle QUR has to be 98, the whole, minus 47. And then 98, take away 47 is going to be 51. And so the measure of QUR is going to be 51. All right, our next one we have, same diagram. This time we have RUS is 2x plus 1. And TUR, the whole thing, is 62. So let's do this. So the whole thing is 62. And one of them is 2x plus 1. Well, if this one's 2x plus 1 and they're both congruent, then this one must be 2x plus 1 also. And so then what we need to do is set that 62, which is the whole, equal to the sum of these two, which are equal, 2x plus 1 plus another 2x plus 1. And we're going to solve for x. So 62 is equal to 2x and 2x make 4x. 1 and 1 make 2. Take it 2 away from both sides. Minus 2, minus 2. So 60 is equal to 4x. Divide by 4. And we see that x is going to be equal to 15 in that one. All right, so for some of these word problems, you just have to, these diagrams, you just have to take it kind of slow and identify what information you have and what information you have given to you already from the diagram, such as congruent angles. So this one, we have PUQ is 8x plus 6. QUR is 10x. And PUR, the whole thing, is 17x plus 11. So what that means is the whole thing, 17x plus 11, is equal to the sum of these two that make that angle. So 8x plus 6 plus another 10x. So now we have to solve this equation, and we get 17x plus 11 is equal to 8x and 10 make 18x, and then plus 6. So I'm going to subtract 17x on both sides. Get 11 is equal to 1x plus 6. Subtract 6. And 11 take away 6 is 5. So we get an x value of 5. It's asking for PUQ, just this one. So if x is 5, we're going to plug a 5 in for that x right there. So we get 8 times 5 plus 6. That gives me 40 plus 6, which is 46 for the total. And you can put a little degree on there if you want to, but that is the measure of that angle, PUQ. All right, this one says PUT is a straight angle, this whole thing, and UQ bisects PUR, which means these two are congruent. UQ bisects PUR, so this one's congruent to this one. And US bisects RUT, so those are congruent. Then what's QUS? This one. So we want to know what this measure is right here. So here's a real cool way to do this. All four of these add together to give you 180 degrees. So the measure of angle PUQ plus the measure of angle QUR plus the measure of angle RUS plus the measure of angle SUT is equal to 180. So all four of those together equal 180. But the cool thing is that PUQ and QUR are the same thing. So you can take the PUQ and substitute in a QUR instead because they're congruent. Same thing over here. For the RUS and SUT, those are congruent. So SUT, I can actually plug in a measure of angle RUS. Okay, now what we have then is two of these guys. So we have 2 times the measure of angle QUR plus 2 times the measure of angle RUS equals 180. If you divide everything by 2, you're going to get measure of angle QUR plus measure of angle RUS equals 180 divided by 2 is 90. So the measure of QUR plus RUS is actually this whole thing. So these together actually make the measure of angle QUS. And that is equal to 90, and that's what it's asking for. So there weren't any things given to you except for some bisectors, and it turns out that the measure of QUS is 90 degrees. All right, so now we're going to change diagrams one more time, and we're going to do our last ones here. So this one is going to be AOF is a right angle. So this one's a right angle, and AOF is 13 x minus 1. What's x equal to? Well, if this is a right angle, then this measure is 90. And if it's 13x minus 1, then what we're going to do is set 13x minus 1 equal to 90. So add 1 to both sides. 13x is equal to 91. Divide by 13. And we get x is equal to 91 divided by 13 is 7. And that's our value for x. All right, for our next one, same diagram. Okay, this time we have AOE are collinear, which means that's a straight angle. BOC is 5x plus 5. AOB is 6x minus 1. DOE is 4x plus 12. And OD bisects EOC, which means this is another 4x plus 12. And now we're going to go ahead and add all those up and set that equal to 180. So here we go. 180 equals, okay, how many x's do we have? 6 and 5 make 11, 15, 19. So it looks like we have 19 x's. -1 and 5 make 4, plus 12. is 16 plus another 12 would be a total of 28. Okay, we're going to subtract 28 on both sides. And we're going to get 152 over here is equal to 19x divided by 19. And we get, let's see, 8 is equal to x. And that is our answer for that one. All right. So now, we have this one here. This one says if measure of angle COD is 3x minus 5 and EOC is 96, then what must be the measure of DOE in order for OD to bisect EOC? Okay, so that one looks kind of complicated, so let's break that one down a little bit. What we want is we want DOE, we want OD to bisect EOC, which means we want these two to be the same. Okay, so it's saying that COD is 3x minus 5. EOC, the whole thing, is 86. Well, if the whole thing is 86, and you want this to be a bisector, then EOD must be half of that, so it must be 43, right? Okay, what must the measure of DOE be in order for OD to bisect EOC? Well, it's just half of 86. And so the answer is just going to be 43. 43 degrees. So it didn't even matter that we called COD 3x minus 5. All we had to do is just take half of 86, and 43 has to be it. Okay, our last one, EOF is a straight angle. I mean a right angle, I'm sorry. A right angle, so that's 90 degrees. EOF is 15x, and DOE is 5x plus 2. And it's asking now what DOF is. So we need to add these together. Well, the first thing I would do is figure out what x is. Because if EOF is 90 and it's also 15x, then 15x has to equal 90. So if you take 15x equals 90 and divide by 15, x is going to be equal to 6. If x is 6, I have to plug that back in to both of these to make sure I can get the angle measure. So I know already that if I plug a 6 back in for that x right there, I'm going to get 90 degrees. If I plug a 6 in here, I'm going to get 5 times 6 plus 2, which is 30, plus 2, which is 32 degrees. So all of this angle together is these two, which is going to be 90 plus another 32 for a grand total of 122 degrees for the whole thing. So 122 degrees for the whole thing is your final answer for that one. All right, guys, so this has been Angle Measure. And remember to like my video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.